I think, that music as a genre has really painted African American culture in a negative image. And anybody that listens to rap music, and I'm not talking about all rap music, but I mean, pretty much the majority of it, a lot of it kind of conveys the same message. Like if you were to ask somebody like, name some themes from rap songs that you've heard before, you'd probably get, themes about making money, selling drugs, using guns, hustling on the streets, pimping, slapping around bitches and hoes and stuff like that. A lot of slang language, a lot of, derogatory comments and negativity, and a lot of street violence. They have a lot of, gang related imagery and quotes and stuff like that. And I feel like, I like rap music. I'm a lover of rap music. I've been listening to rap for a long, long time. I'm not a huge rap mogul or anything like that. I don't know the history or the roots, all that stuff. But I feel like it definitely paints a picture of the race in a way that they really don't need to be depicted as. And, if you take rap songs, like if you take famous rappers like Tupac, Snoop Dogg, the big ones, the ones that everybody knows, Notorious B.I.G., and even like the newer guys like Lil Wayne, stuff like that, The Game, 50 Cent, I'm just naming off random ones off the top of my head really. But if you take these guys, they all have a gangster persona and a gangster image. And they not only personify the thug life gangster type of image, but they are proud of it, and they showcase it in a way that when people listen to it, they almost look up to it and want to be like it. And I can attest to that. I can definitely attest to that, to the fact that when I'm listening to Snoop Dogg and he's rapping about smoking weed and stuff like that, I want to smoke weed. Like, and I'll have to say, like, I do indulge in smoking weed every once in a while, and I feel like part of it is because I was influenced by music like Snoop Dogg and like Dr. Dre, and I feel like I was influenced back in the 90s and the early 2000s and stuff like that. So am I gonna blame rap music for my choices in life? No, I'm not going to, but it was an influence on me. So for somebody in the black community, they're more than likely going to listen to black music rather than white music. It's just how it is. It's not, there are black people that like, white music, like rock and roll, white bands, whatever, you know what I mean. But primarily, black people will listen to black music, white people will listen to white music, and that's kind of sort of how it goes. There's no general rule there, but that's just kind of how it is. So if black people are primarily listening to black music, and black music, namely rap, which is what we're talking about, always has, a message of violence behind it, and it's a message that's coded in positivity, meaning, they have these messages where, like, I grew up on the streets, I was poor, I used to have to, do illegal things, but now I'm on top, I'm on top of the world, I got lots of money, I got girls, I got cars, I got fancy house and all this stuff, and it's almost like, started from the bottom, now we're up, which is a line from Drake's song. I hate Drake, I don't listen to Drake, whatever, I just know the line. But that's basically, a lot of rap has that same message. And, I feel like, it sends a message to the youth that it's okay to be violent when you're young. It's okay to rob people. It's okay to hustle. It's okay to sell drugs. It's okay to treat women badly. It's okay to carry around a gun illegally. It's okay to disrespect police. You know the phrase, fuck the police. That's a classic rap song, and it's something that resonates throughout the rap community to this day. And, it's a common thing. Fuck the police. So when in an incident like the Michael Brown incident, which is very cloudy at this point, nobody really knows what happened, and I'm not going to start giving my opinion on it or anything like that. But the fact is, being a black man in a black community who most likely listen to black music, perhaps listen to rap, and perhaps grew up on the message of fuck the police, what's this person gonna say or do when a police officer confronts him about a crime that he potentially just committed? What's this person gonna do? Now, this person might comply with the police officer, or the person might lash out on the police officer. And, you know, based on the testimonies I've heard, both of those scenarios have been, you know, stated. But the fact that he got shot and killed leads me to believe that he lashed out on the police officer because he had the mentality that, you know, this police officer was doing wrong to him. This police officer was harassing him or, you know, questioning him, you know, prejudging him or whatever. And for whatever reason, he had this fuck the police mentality. So he attacked the police officer. And I'm saying this allegedly. I'm not stating this as a fact. But he attacked the police officer. An incident occurred where there was a struggle or whatever, whatnot. And the police officer shot him. He died. Now, was the police officer right for shooting him? Hell no. The police officer should not have shot him. These guys are trained. He should have been able to, you know, maybe tase him, pepper spray, hit him with his baton, anything. He did not have to resort to pulling his gun out and pulling that trigger. That was completely wrong, and I hope he gets punished for it. Honestly, I hope he gets punished for it. But I sincerely do not believe that this was anything to do with race or racial profiling in any sort of way where a white cop was just driving down the street and said, hey, look, there's a black guy, I'm going to go harass him. It wasn't like that at all. It was revealed today that Michael Brown was caught on surveillance robbing a convenience store and assaulting the convenience store clerk moments before the incident went down. The store owner called 911. The police officer was the first on the scene. There was an incident that ensued. Michael Brown was shot. And, you know, this all happened in a matter of minutes. So as for, you know, black people sort of painting themselves in an image of violent perpetrators and partnering that with the statistics that I read to you a few moments ago, you kind of have to agree that when it comes to profiling and police, you know, surveying around the cities and checking out who are they going to stop and question, they're going to more likely than not stop and question black people based on the fact that they have a higher chance of catching a criminal by stopping and asking a black person. That doesn't mean they don't stop and ask white people questions. I've been stopped by the police several times. Probably, I wouldn't say it happens a lot, obviously. I'd say probably 3 or 4 times in my life since I was about between the ages of 20 to now. I've been stopped about 3 or 4 times by the police for no reason whatsoever. Just stopped on the street, asked questions, who I am, what I'm doing, where I'm going, you know, do I have a record? They've kept me there, check my name in the system to see if I was clean, all that kind of stuff. Why? I don't know. To be honest, I don't know. If I had to guess, I'd say it's probably because of my image. I have, you know, I'd say most would agree I have what you'd call maybe an edgy image. I got, you know, big earrings, shaved head, goatee, tattoos. You know what I mean? I'm not a prim and proper type of guy. And I might look like I'm up to no good if I'm sitting on a park bench somewhere, like, or walking on the street at night. I don't know. But the bottom line is police have stopped me and questioned me. And I'm not a black guy. So, you know, it's one of those things that goes both ways. But when it happens to a black guy, they call it racial profiling. And, you know, I just feel that's a little unfair. I feel like police are just doing their job. And when they're doing their job, they can't stop and question everybody. So they got to stop and question the people who are most likely the ones who are guilty. And based on statistics that I mentioned that were, built and created by the people themselves, that is why black people are questioned more often. I just want to mention one more thing. So I'm not gonna say, I mentioned rap music and how there's a lot of violence in rap music, and rap music is primarily dominated by African American culture, but I'm not gonna state that black people are the sole perpetrators of violence in rap music. You got Eminem, for example, who's probably one of, if not the most famous rappers in the world, and you know, he's white. He's a white guy. He's whiter than the middle of an Oreo. I mean, he's as white as they come, and you know, and he's a violent rapper. He raps about violent things. He raps about killing. He raps about you know, heinous crimes and drugs and all this sort of stuff. You know, but what you got to ask yourself about that is, where did Eminem get his influences from? And I've known this for a while now, but I looked it up recently again just to be sure. And his number one influence is Ice-T, who's a black rapper. And, you know, Ice-T's lyrics aren't as violent as, you know, some of the more modern day lyrics, or even some of the other classic, you know, NWA type of stuff that, like the fuck the police stuff. But he did have a very gang, you know, he had a gang mentality, a lot of gang related lyrics, depicting violent scenarios. And, you know, his whole principle of rap was to sort of live life like a rebel, disregard authority, and basically personify the ultimate tough guy imagery, and essentially paint a picture that no one fucks with rappers. So when the youth listens to that, they want to be like that. They want to be a guy that no one fucks with. They want to be a guy that no one can mess with, and, you know, people are going to be afraid of on the street and stuff like that. So what are they going to do? They're going to do what the music says. They're going to go out and get a gun. They're going to go out and rob people. They're going to sell drugs. And all it does is it spreads like wildfire, to the point where now you have communities of people that are shooting each other. They're circling drugs around, and people aren't going to school. They'd rather do drugs than go to school. And poverty's an issue and all this stuff. And what do? They blame the government for oppressing them, which is an issue, and that's a completely different topic. I'm not going to deny that happens, but the bottom line is it goes deeper than that. You know, they have to blame themselves to a certain extent for putting themselves in the situation that they're in. So, staying on the tune of white rappers, I'll use a lesser known yet a more recent example. There's a rapper named Stitches, who you probably don't even know about. He's pretty underground. But every one of his songs is about dealing drugs, shooting people, and, you know, basically, don't fuck with me. If you do, I will fucking kill you. And this guy's got an AK-47 tattooed on his face right here. And he waves guns around in his videos all, you know, proudly and shit. And who do you think he was influenced by? You know, he wasn't influenced by white artists, because those types of things are rare. You know, I can't even think of a single music video that I've ever seen where white guys were fucking flailing guns around in their videos with bandanas and gangs, you know, people behind them all like, you know, this menacing gang. But that's what this guy's videos are. And, you know, you gotta admit that when you see that in a video, whether it's a white person rapping or a black person rapping, their influences was most likely other black people.